This is AccuSizer software training on how to change the appearance of result charts. First, let's open a size result. I'll come down here and open, for example, sample 1. Here is the result chart for sample 1, and the first thing I notice is there's a lot of these skinny lines showing the distribution. This is showing all 1024 channels in our high-resolution counter, but maybe we think the chart would look better if we had fewer bars here in the histogram plot. What I could do is come down here to Data Calculations. Under Channels, I could change from showing all 1024 size channels to maybe 128. I click on the green check, and now when we view that chart, perhaps we like the way this looks better. If I right-click within the chart, we can change the units on the chart. Currently, we're looking at counts versus size. We could change it to counts per ml versus size. This is essentially a number distribution. Here's a number distribution as a percentage as opposed to counts per ml. Maybe I'm interested in seeing what the volume distribution would look like. I could come down over here to volume versus size. And now I'm saying that looks a bit odd. All of the volume seems to be out at a few particles out here at the right-hand side. And a few large particles could greatly shift the appearance and the calculations in this result. I could come back into Data Calculations and see baseline offset. If I enter the number 3 here, for instance, now any histogram band that has fewer than 3 counts will not be plotted. I click green yes, and if I look at sample 1 now I have a much better view of the volume distribution. You'll notice here we have the histogram band. We also have a plot showing the percent under a size. We can also have that percent under or percent over show up in our other distribution forms. I could come to units again, and if I choose counts per ml in size descending, now I would have the distribution plot and this red line showing us the percent under any given size. The next thing I might want to do is format the scale of the plot. If I right-click and choose Options, Format Plot, I could now set the x-axis to begin at 0.5 microns and go up to maybe 100 microns. There we go. Now we're seeing a better form of the distribution if all of my particles were under 100 microns. At any time, I can take one of these plots, right-click, go to Print, Plot, and I could print this. Under Options, I can also copy this to the clipboard. And then if I come over to PowerPoint, I could just paste this in PowerPoint or put this in some other form in a report that I'm creating. Another way I can change the appearances of the plot is to come up to Options, Chart Preferences. And under Chart Preferences, you'll see I can change the colors, both of what I plot, my backgrounds, and also the labels. For instance, the background up here is currently white. If I put my cursor up in this region, and then I'm using the roller bar on my mouse, I could choose another color for this particular background. Perhaps I like seashell. I could now look at the chart background and change that to another color. Perhaps I like misty rose. For the plot background, which is currently white, perhaps we like it if it changes to olive drab. I can also change the colors on my x-axis labels, on my y-axis labels, the colors for the grids, either the x grids or the y grids. I can change the colors for the histogram plots. Currently the first one is red and the second is blue, but I could change any of these colors to match the preferences inside the graph. I can also change the header font. See the header up here? We can change the header font by clicking here, and then choosing the font we would prefer having up in the header. Once I've made my changes, I can click Save, and now this is the default view for my result graphs. If I decide I don't like the changes I made, I could just come back up to Chart Preferences and switch everything back to where it was before, where everything would be in white. Now I'm back to my original settings. So we can use these to change the chart preference. Perhaps we want to change these to match corporate colors. Or maybe if I'm always measuring sample A and sample B, but they're often similar, I could have a different color code for A versus B and would help us differentiate which result we are viewing.